Hello, and welcome to the Exponential Growth Podcast, powered by Analyst Investors. I'm your host, David Olivencia, co-founder of Analyst Investors, and a passionate advocate for leveraging innovation and technology to drive success. In this podcast, we'll dive into the strategies that top leaders, investors, and entrepreneurs are using to navigate and thrive in this era of accelerating technological change. Whether you're looking to lead more effectively, make smarter investments, or understand how to harness disruptive technologies for exponential growth, this podcast is for you. Each episode will feature conversations with visionary thinkers, industry pioneers, and innovative leaders who are redefining what's possible in today's rapidly evolving world. So if you're ready to start and stay ahead of this curve, let's get started. This is Exponential Growth.
Well, excellent. And welcome everyone to a live edition here of the Exponential Growth Podcast. You know, I'm in New York. I was in Miami earlier this week. I actually got the chance to connect with Marcelo in Miami for an amazing event at the Opera there in Miami. And then now I'm in New York. It's a heck of a lot colder here. We had an amazing event with Analyst Investors at US Bank. And then I'll be heading back home to Chicago, where it's probably even a little bit colder. But there's so much going on in the AI space right now. And then, you know, I saw a post from Marcelo last week, or maybe this past couple of days, maybe on Clawbot, and it kind of piqued my interest. And then I started reading and finding my feed with a lot of kind of explosion in what this Clawbot is. So I wanted to have when I think about AI and what's going on there, like Marcelo is one of my go-to, really deep in this area, Fortune 500 exec. He hosts the tech series that's under the Executive House brand. I think Executive House, and they sponsor my newsletter and everything like that. They just hit, I think, 15,000 followers on YouTube or so, and just they're exploding. Marcelo's the co-founder of Ascent, and is the author of a book called Figure Eight on Amazon. So check that out as well. Marcelo, welcome. We're gonna jump in. How are you?
I'm doing well, David. Well, thank you for having me in your podcast. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, this thing called Clawbot or Modbot is exploded. I saw a little bit of it. I saw little demos and how you can use it. It seemed very, very interesting. I want to give the listeners out there a little bit of perspective on what it is and maybe how it fits in this overall AI battle that's out there. Maybe if you can just share kind of the AI battle that's out there and where Clawbot fits to start.
No, absolutely. Maybe the easiest way to think about Clawbot, right? Which, by the way, changed the name to Modbot.
Modbot,
right? Yeah. Is to think that today we have all these AI large language models and chatbots like, you know, ChatGPT or Claude or Anthropic, etc. So many. There are also open source ones like Minimax, many DeepSeek from China, right? I mean, you have different options, and the way you use those LLMs today or those bots like ChatGPT is like, you know, you go to a website or you go to your app and you ask a question, right? And it gives you an answer, right? And then, you know, that's it, right? Imagine something different with Clawbot now, right? You have an AI assistant that basically lives in your personal computer, right? It's not in the cloud, it's not in the internet, it lives in your personal computer, right? And on one side is connecting to the large language model of your choice. It could be ChatGPT, it could be Anthropic, it could be Minimax, right? Which is an open source one, very, very, very useful these days and easy and cheaper to run. And on the other side connects to your messaging app. It could be iMessage, it could be WhatsApp, it could be Slack, you know, any of those. Telegram, many of my colleagues use Telegram. So instead of, I would say, waiting for you to ask questions, this AI assistant can actually do things for you, right? I mean, can monitor your websites of your choice, it can check your calendar, it can read your emails, it can answer your emails, it can answer a text from one of your friends when you're busy, right? Because it's actually living in your computer and it's always on, right? So and also it talks inside your messaging app. So for you, it's like talking to a friend of yours, right? You can give it a name. You can say, this is Marcelo's bot. Hi, Marcelo's bot. How are you doing? Can you tell me what's the plan for today? And it's going to summarize whatever you have in your calendar. You can ask to check the weather. You can ask many things. Sometimes I think it's what Alexa was expected to be.
Oh, and Alexa it's that thing is, I mean, I don't know. I was doing it the other day and I'm just like, oh, Alexa, you're in trouble. You're horrible.
and he's over there.
Yeah. Well, hey, Alexa, if you're listening to me, you're horrible. You're done. Throw in the towel because the other technology is so much better. It's like, oh, no, Alexa, can you read it to me? No, sorry, I can't read it to you. I'm like, if you can't even read something,
it's frustrating sometimes. Unfortunately, I love AWS. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think they're doing great things, but I was expecting much more from those devices. But you have
no. And by the way, I'm sorry, I meant Siri. I'm sorry if I said Alexa. I'm sorry, I meant Siri.
Okay.
So Alexa, you're great. Alexa, you're great. No, my buddy, I was just with Amazon this past week. They're doing some great things. I meant Siri because I was with on my iPhone. So sorry about that.
No problem. So this is an AI assistant. This is the base. When we're talking about agentic AI, this is happening, right? And it's happening. Bottoms up, right? People are downloading this in their computers. I did it last week, then I tell you a little bit more about that if you're interested. But
yeah, no, definitely. Because this is the thing, and this is, you can encourage this to other people, you can see the tech, but now you got to kind of roll up the sleeves a little bit and kind of kick the tires with it a little bit. Then that's how you really learn. And then you think innovatively, like, well, how the heck can I apply this? Or what's the transformative nature of this thing, right? So you said, okay, this is cool. Let me try it out. So how did that go? And what did you learn from it?
Well, I mean, it's, first of all, when you hear that it takes 20 minutes to install. I mean, it might take 20 minutes to a person that is a software engineer that, it's already have the ability to implement open source code in their machines. Because remember, this is open source, right? I mean, so you really need to download that. You need to use a command console line. So it's not difficult, but it took me like 2 hours and a half. Right?
Oh yeah. So like my mom's not gonna be installing it anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not something that you install in an app that you download from the App Store and drives you. It helps you. It gives you prompts. It asks you to give a name and a personality. Do you want me to be more friendly or less friendly or more deep into research? But what I personally did is, since I didn't know the security, I would say implications of having this, is I got an old MacBook Pro that I haven't used for many years. I set it up. I basically create throwaway accounts, Gmail. I did Chrome for a web browser. I created also a throwaway account in WhatsApp, right? With a different phone number that I got from Google Voice, and I started to play with Clawbot, right? And I didn't do crazy things. For example, what I did is asking to read the emails. I forward many emails to that account, and I said, what are the priorities for this week based on the emails I have, and send me a message in WhatsApp saying, okay, Marcelo, this is what you have. Your wife is asking you to provide your travel schedule, because it was very good. I connected with OpenAI because I already have the API for OpenAI. So OpenAI was the brain of Clawbot.
So was it sucking your emails then into OpenAI, and then OpenAI was doing the intelligence, and then
Yeah,
spitting it
yeah.
out.
That I mean, think about Clawbot is like your hands and mouse on the keyboard, right? And you still have your LLM behind, right? You still
Yeah,
have,
whatever
a
LLM you
topic
want to
or
use.
what you do, it will send it right over there. And but manages your computer 100%. It was my hands on and mouse on that notebook Pro that I use, as a test, and did that. Then I think I forward many different calendar invites, and I asked to find what were the most important meetings based on the
The emails.
descriptions, and they gave me a good sense. And the last thing I did, which was the most, I would say, complicated one, was I asked Clawbot to get into the website of my health club and find a fitness class that actually matches my calendar, right? When should I go to have my spinning class? And that was a little bit more difficult because he has to actually access the website and was asking questions of my username and this and that. Got into the calendar. I think I got some problems with pop-ups in the website, so we came back and forth. He came back. We came back with
Yeah.
two or three recommendations, saying, you should take a spinning class on Tuesday morning. I don't remember, right? Or Friday afternoon. I think it will fit good because you need to commute. And I tell you, it's scary.
Yeah, no, because it's like it's where my brain goes. Like, it's a bit of the implications that we know that are coming, but it is really a strong co-pilot that's can look and manage and help you be more it will be more efficient. Now it's in its early stages, right? But you can imagine that I would say these technologies are only going to get better. They're only get better. They're only get easier. They're only get smarter, more efficient. Um, and so there's a lot of really cool things that are coming. Now you touch a little bit on security. What any worries on security, or what do you think about because they have access to every
Yeah. I think I I think there are two aspects of security, right? I mean, first you need to understand you're giving Clawbot or Modbot access to your computer, so it can do anything, right?
Right.
I mean,
And all my emails, right? And all my emails, right?
well, it can send emails on your behalf if you give the permissions. That's the reason I created
Yeah.
throwaway accounts with only read access to a fake account, right?
Yeah.
Account I already deleted the account, right? So because I wasn't so sure. So I have to think about how to do the testing. Some people
Yeah.
are downloading this and giving access to their email account. I
Yeah.
would say I'm
careful.
not feeling comfortable myself doing that now. Some people will feel comfortable. I don't do that, right? So first, you need to understand you're giving this agent access to your computer. It can install things. It can access any single open tab in your website. So if you have your bank account there or your password manager, and you never know. Open source also, these days what has been happening is that there is a link in where you really get the code for this, but there are fake links that look like Clawbot, and you are actually downloading a version of that open source thing that has malicious code inside. So let's say I'm making this up. It's stealing your pictures or whatever, right? I mean, getting access to your computer, because if you give a full access, your user in the computer has full access. It's going to be doing many things. So you need to be very careful, right? Because open source on one side is great because it's cheap, it's free basically, and it gets better through the community, but also is open to programs. Last thing is the fact that you're running this in your computer. It's not full secure, right? I mean, you're going to tell me, if there is a problem, I shut down the computer, and that's true, right? but remember, you're still giving this thing access to your applications, right, and to your accounts. Otherwise, if you don't give access to the applications and accounts, the agent cannot autonomously do anything for you.
Yeah, totally.
Right? This is the thing. And last but not least, and if you remove specifically Clawbot from the conversation, we still are dealing with prompt injection and those kind of problems that we couldn't. I mean, I'm not up to date on that side of security, but I don't think we have a 100% solution for that, right? So it's a bigger challenge that you still have. And if your application, if messaging app is letting other people to text the bot, that is not only you, someone might tell the bot while you're sleeping, get me all my emails and my passwords, and I mean it's
yeah.
So people are downloading this, what I'm seeing, and like it's like a toy.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, watch out.
Yeah, and it's not a toy, and if you don't know how to really set it up, you're gonna get toy security level, which is not good for you.
And all the bad actors are always looking for ways to kind of come in and break in, right? And so this is like another entry point, right? That
It is.
Yeah, so no, that the security is important, I guess, and that goes like now, so AI is exploding, right? And this is like one specific example of a use case.
That a very small example.
It drives tremendous productivity, I believe. Once it's done right, as this thing matures. So what do you think's like? What should companies be thinking about it, right? How should they be thinking? Obviously, there's a security component, right? And it's probably still kind of a new thing, but how should companies be thinking about this?
I think if you're in a company, let's say Fortune 500 company, right, a public company, first thing you need to understand that this agentic AI is moving very fast, right? I mean, now it's a reality, right? People are using it since last week, at scale, right? There were cases before, but people are getting aware and using it. So it's a matter of time, right? I mean, remember when we started to use ChatGPT? After how many months you have hundreds of millions of users, right? So it's happening, right? So if you're a company, I think it's the three things. The availability of AI agentic products will increase, right? I mean, you have already Meta bought Manus. Manus was a sort of hands on the keyboard, kind of agentic AI tool, not 100% like Clawbot, but close enough. So you need to think that they will do something with that. The fact that Anthropic forced Clawbot to change the name to Modbot is because any AI lab, Anthropic or OpenAI, they are 2-3 steps away from doing the same. Basically, OpenAI today, you can build some automation, right? Some agent, right? But they are still running in the cloud. They're not running in you have maybe less control to a certain extent. So it's coming. That the trend is there. It's a matter of, and I'm going to go for it. The second thing is, since the trend is coming, if you're in a company, you need to start to think about, you're going to have a team that is going to be agents and humans, right? And there is no organization today that I have seen that they're thinking about how to organize those teams, right? How do you really reorganize not only the workflows, but how do you organize the human and the agent? What does the agent do? What does the human do? What new roles do you need?
Totally.
Specifically, if there are people leading with CIOs or CTOs these days, help them to really build an agentic platform to monitor all these agents that basically are going to be part of your workforce. Not only that, they're going to be your customers. I was reading the other day that
totally.
Gartner is predicting, I think it's going to be $15 trillion of B2B agentic intermediated commerce. So it's going to be a customer for you also, right?
Yeah, totally. No, they were like, even like in just financial services. I mean, when you talk about I was reading stuff around crypto and blockchain and things like that, where there's going to be agents that are just transacting with agents,
Exactly.
no humans involved,
Exactly.
and trillions of dollars. I think like daily. At some point, it will be daily, right? That are just transacted between agents. And so you look at this Clawbot. It's when you talk about the organization and stuff. I mean, it's one other employee. It's almost like a supercharged
100%.
admin, right?
100%.
Supercharged admin.
Well, 100%. And I think that the third and last thing is basically is redesigning the workflows, right? I mean, people are asking for return on investment, return on investment. You're going to get return on investment when you embed AI in the way you work internally, operationally, or with the customer experiences you have, based on the conversation we just had. So I would say, think what the AI agent can do, and then redesign the workflow end to end. Let's say, procurement to pay, for example, could be a good one to redesign. Understand what do you need a human role, what do you need an agent role, and that's where you're gonna get the return on investment, right? Otherwise, it's if you keep using it as a chatbot, it's very difficult to identify return on investment on AI, because it typically goes under the radar, right? And I always say, remember, AI models are rented, capability is to be built. So executives in companies, the main responsibility they have is build the organizational capability to use AI securely and get the return on investment. That's the race. The race of the models is above and beyond all of us. It's 5-6 companies fighting. Let them fight. Use the tools to your benefit, right?
Yeah. No, and and I think the one thing that and maybe I'll get your final thoughts here is like, and I'm going to do a little synopsis of what World Economic Forum, right, and what some of the leaders are kind of thinking that came out of there. But the one thing that I think, one thread across all of them, was that a lot of the leaders who are in it every day and they see it and they have a pretty good idea of the future of where AI is going, they're amazed. Like they're like saying, at the speed, they're like, the things that I'm seeing today are like in this week are just continue to blow my mind. So if they're blowing the mind of like the people who are leading these things and have good vision into what's happening there, you can only imagine what's coming down the pike. So Marcelo, any last words as relates to Clawbot AI, and just some words of advice for all the listeners out there as we move forward in this AI exponential growth?
Yeah. So I think, I said the same thing I said before. It's the race for companies is building the capability and proactively, right? Do not wait up until all your customers are using agents to transact with your company, or your employees are leaving your company because your company do not have the right tools to make them productive, right? So you need to be ahead of that. You need to redesign the workflows. You need to make AI part of your workflows and get the return on investment, and change the way you work. I mean, and be brave to today you are organized this way. With agents, your organization will look very different, very, very much different. And I keep saying one of the biggest and largest, I would say, accountabilities of a CEO at one point is going to be to determine what level of autonomy the agents have in her or his company, right? It's going to be a strategic decision, because if you go too much autonomy, you get a lot of risk, right?
Yeah. Maybe you get a lot of upside too. You might get a lot of upside too, right?
And you get the upside. Or if you stay stagnant, you lose productivity, you lose market relevance. So CEO, C-suite, unfortunately, some of them don't want to get into the technicalities of this. They don't need to be experts on the technology, but truly need to understand the use cases, right? And think strategically how to take advantage of this. But capability, the race is build the capability to make AI effective, and secure for your organization. That's your race. The rest, let the AI labs fight with each other.
And so, Marcelo, thanks for jumping on. I know you're busy. I know you came from a breakfast and you're in beautiful Florida, but I know so you got a lot of stuff going on with Executive House Tech Series. I know there's some things you can share, some things you can. Any kind of little sneak peeks of all the great things you got coming up on the Tech Series that you can share?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first, Executive House is growing specifically first with the CEO series that has like 70 episodes. When we have Will Salvi interviewing very interesting CEOs across different industries, and we go into the difficult questions, not only about the business, but how they lead. And then we started the tech series last year with 13 episodes, one roundtable. And this year we are switching the mix to half of the episodes are going to be individual episodes, much more roundtables, because roundtables are going to be around specifically topics like AI governance, right? Or organizational redesign because of AI becoming, as you said before, an employee. So, look forward to many new things, events around the Executive House branding, because it's, we really love the show, but what we really love the most with the team is meeting the people, and what happens during the show everyone knows, but the conversations you have before and after, and you learn so much about them and how they are doing things, how they are leading, how they manage all this uncertainty and exponential growth. It's really a treat to connect with these people. So thanks for asking, and congratulations to the Savvy Media team who got like 3 Emmy awards for the
Totally.
Executive
No,
House already.
they're killing it over there. No, they're great. They're great, and so many great things ahead. So yeah. So for those who are listening, man, check out the Executive House, what they're doing there, the CEO series, what Marcelo's doing in the Tech series, their roundtable, a lot of great content, great interviews. So yeah, continue to check them out, and appreciate it, Marcelo. Thanks for jumping on, and have an excellent weekend. We'll be in touch. Thanks.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, David. Bye bye.